This is the guy.
Right, of course.
Dale.
After watching the episode, I'm like, we didn't have that, love.
Mommy and Daddy.
I'm Holly
Welcome.
Combs. I'm not sure it's their favorite show of all
No,
time.
it's their favorite show. If they're here, it's their favorite show for sure.
Okay. All right.
And Daddy AF,
What's up?
Mustaches
Brian
and
Krause
puppies.
Here, mustache in tow. Ready to deep dive.
It's still there.
It's,
Yeah, see, she can't
Can you
even
see
see it. No, but when you do, dude,
I
you
don't
can't.
want to see it.
I'll show it to you. Well, you can't show it to you this week. I'm shaving.
Do not shave it.
Oh,
Do not
you're
shave
shaving?
it.
Okay. Cool.
Please tell him not to shave it.
You're shaving for the weekend?
Yeah. Well,
man.
for today.
Oh.
Okay, well, guys, this is the House of Hallowell, where we review and dive into your favorite show. Every episode, every detail, every cavity.
Well, not everyone.
Yeah, everyone.
Nope.
Yep.
We don't have time for that.
Yeah, we do.
Moving on.
No, well, look at your view. Just
See,
I know.
like you can just tune out.
I could hang out here all day.
Yeah.
So what
and just
episode
I'll
are we
talk
into
about it.
today?
We're doing Dead Man Dating.
Yes.
Dead man dating.
Yeah.
I
you know.
told Drew this was my first of my favorites.
This was straight up, this was an incredible episode. It
It's my
aired
first
October
favorite.
28th, 1998.
You were 12. We
I was still 18 at the time,
And a half.
directed by Richard Compton. And this was by far and away, at least out of the first few that we've watched, my favorite one. It was so good.
It was the most Piperist of Piper
Maybe that's why I
shows
loved it.
so far. I think it's when they figured out I could cry on camera, and then it just never ended. It just never ended. Like, I never stopped crying the entire show.
You caught real feelings.
I did.
I know.
did.
I was like,
seen
I'm
them?
watching this, and I caught feelings for you guys. I was like,
as Leo was a
no,
little
Dale.
jealous.
Dale wasn't even there yet. Dale's
Dale's
still
still in the
Dale's in the
attic.
attic.
Dale was jealous.
Flowers in the attic.
Dale's
like
in
she
the
didn't
attic,
love
but
me
for
the
real,
most.
there was some gold. Like, you guys were amazing.
See,
For
that's
real, you and
chemistry.
John.
John Cho. You either have it or you don't.
Yeah, and you guys definitely had it.
It can't be manufactured.
There was some
so.
chemistry. Like, well, we're trying to manufacture something between the three of us.
There's got to be commitment. You got to commit to the moment.
That, you know what? Yes, commitment.
Was there a thought of keeping him around and having him be the boyfriend and be in and out after that? I mean, because you guys had so much chemistry.
He was dead.
Yeah.
She has
Yeah,
a
but
thing
even
for
as a
dead
ghostly
guys.
boyfriend.
Buddy, she
She's a
moved
witch.
on. Or he moved on. Like,
Yeah,
he
but
saw
they
his
didn't
dad.
need
They had a
to.
handshake. They
It's
embraced.
Magic. It's freaking magic. If you watch the show,
True.
She
True.
can't date a
Nobody
dead guy.
hello.
She tried.
Were you dead? You were a
Yes.
handyman.
Kind of dead.
Guys,
No,
we're jumping.
he
You
was-
can't jump that. You can't
Sorry.
jump that far ahead.
Oh, sorry, people. For those of you that haven't seen it yet. For those of you who haven't seen the show yet, no spoilers, please.
I haven't seen the show
BK.
yet. This is my first time.
That's
I'd never
true.
seen that episode before.
It's really my favorite thing to watch the show with people who've never seen it before, and they're like, "What the f is this?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I just spent 8 years doing it. I just work here. That's
Yeah.
I don't know."
Like we're wheeling you out again for another 8 years. Just I'm hitting you're on autopilot at this point. There is something I need to address, and
Sure.
it's Andy's behavior is egregious at this point. He's a stage 4 stalker. It's not a good look to show up at people's houses unannounced, kids. Like, that's not a good look. Do not do
but
that.
We
Do not.
discussed this. It was like before cell phone technology and such things.
Yeah, he keeps doing it though. In every ep.
very
It's a
dedicated.
real bad choice.
You know, just from an insider's point of view, I can tell you that we had limited locations. I mean, this is part of why I was really excited to do this episode is they actually let us outside. They let us go to Chinatown. There
Echo
was a
Park
horse-
Lake.
Yeah, there was like a horse involved. There was, there was real show type things. And I think there's this like miscommunication that people think like the more successful you get, like the more money you have to do the show, it's actually the opposite. They're like, oh, they're successful. They're going to stick around for a while. So we're going to shave your budget every year until you get efficient enough. And till by like season 8, we were inside the entire season. I don't think we went anywhere. We were not allowed to play outside.
Do you want to talk about it more? Because clearly it's...
Just, from a production standpoint, Andy being
did
in
that
the
actually
house
really
all the
happen?
time.
They kept shaving your budget every season?
Yeah, I think from year 4, it just went downhill every year.
Wow.
Yeah. And so when you have like lead actors making more and more, and then you have a smaller budget to do the rest of it, it's super counterintuitive. Not that I'm going to turn down a raise, but
no, I
also didn't, ask for like a ridiculous raise because I knew it would be taken out of the budget that was doing this.
Right. Well, this episode had, again, there was a surprise. You guys were planning a surprise party for Prue. But really it was just you and Mark, like running around kind of playing detective. It was like moonlighting.
Thank
you. There was love. I'm telling you, I can't get over it. I was watching it. Did I maybe even get a little teary-eyed at the end? Like you got me.
You better have.
Yeah, you got me. I was shocked. I'm like, there's no way I'm actually getting emotional about this episode. Like there was just something really fucking great about it.
At the funeral, it's real funny because, we were still like struggling to find our footing. And at the funeral scene, they're shooting us all in a line. And we all know why they're shooting us in a line, because it's more efficient to get out of the location if the 3 of us stand facing the camera. And so you can see that like Shannon and Alyssa were not prepared for the emotion I was about to give. So literally, those are real moments. And I'm not sure I was prepared for it either, but it just came out. So I just went with it. And Alyssa's like, whoa. When she touches me and she's like, are you okay? And then I see Shannon go like this. Like she's like, oh, we're doing this scene?
Oh, we're crying?
We're doing this today? Like you can see her face like go, oh, okay. Yes, we're bringing it today.
Amazing.
It was pretty funny. If you rewatch that scene, they're both like, shit. There she goes.
Was there anything?
Of the wheels coming off.
Did you know, like when you were shooting it, like were you aware of, obviously as like you get scripts and we read scripts all the time, and some are immediately you can tell like, oh, this is going to be great off the, like, on the page immediately on.
Yeah, this one was good on the page immediately.
Yeah, you knew.
So, and that's what's funny about emotional scenes is that sometimes they can be super hard to do and, the tears just won't come. And there's other, scenes that are constructed accordingly and it just flows. It just happens in a real way. And then you got John. So that helps. It helps when your guest star is good.
But what's crazy is I think this was, and we'll ask him when he joins us, but I think it was his 3rd or 4th job? Like he hadn't done anything.
I guess, I don't know. I mean, I didn't sense he was green or anything.
No,
he was super
no.
professional.
But it was still very at the early stages of his career. Like,
oh yeah. Well, now he's a megastar.
Yeah. Yeah.
He hasn't stopped working a day since that episode, which is probably why he never came back.
Probably. Also, and he was dead. He was dead.
Yeah. Well, she had a thing for dead guys, like I said.
Yeah. Well,
dude, when did you die? I mean, let's jump, I guess.
1941.
When did you go from Dale the handyman to dead?
Saving Private Leo. Is that when we find out mostly about? Oh wait, we're skipping way
ahead.
That's
way ahead.
It's many seasons.
Just before we have our boy come and join us, was there anything else? Like I took copious notes again.
You have questions. You have all the questions.
Does Shannon actually hate birthday parties?
Like no. Shannon
did
in
they
real life?
Write that in like, oh, I hate them anyway and don't blah, blah, blah. So was that something they wrote for her character?
Shannon likes birthday parties. She probably doesn't like, she'll say she doesn't like surprise parties, but she does like to plan things. So actually she planned a surprise party for me with Alyssa, so she can't say that she hates it.
Like in real life?
I think it was like my 25th birthday they planned. And literally there was like the DP from Picket Fences. There was like people from deep in the Rolodex that they must have stolen. Like producers from Picket Fences. And I was just like, where did you find all these people?
How did you, do you like surprise parties?
No.
Not at all.
No, not at all.
No.
I mean, and this was like a day in your life from like the last 30 years, but I was only 25. It was literally everybody I'd known and then their mother.
And you were so bummed.
Wow.
I was super overwhelmed. And it was at Alyssa's house, so it was just a grand old setup.
Sure.
Yeah.
BK, were you there?
I think I was drunk there. No, I don't know that I was there.
I don't remember exactly whose birthday it was.
I was there. It was a party, I'll tell you.
It was.
To not get away, let's to the notes.
Oh, okay, to the notes. But no, we can listen. This is what people want. They want the deep inside cuts. I want deep cuts.
All right. I think that was my last surprise birthday party ever. Don't get any ideas. Like, you guys are the worst.
No, this is a great thing.
One birthday with you
When
guys.
is your birthday again? Oh, yeah.
December.
Or
It's
3
in
years
December.
ago.
December.
And you had
I
like
think we should do a surprise party for her this year.
You had every con that we were at for like the month before and the month after sing happy birthday to me.
Yeah, we did do that.
That's a great thing.
No, we did. We were in Paris.
That's one of my, I had a dinner party the other night, not here. I was at a party at a restaurant, and I love going to the bathroom and telling the waiter, probably the person who hates it the most, it's their birthday.
That's so wrong.
It's so great.
So unnecessary.
They're so bummed when the people come out and everyone starts singing. And everyone's like looking around going, it's your birthday? I had no idea.
I think we did that to you a couple times, actually.
You have. It's a good prank. I'm into it.
Back to the notes. I have to say, I enjoyed this episode as well. And I think for me, it was the, as last episode with a couple episodes with Dad, and we showed the girls being more human. This was even a deeper dive into, like you said, Holly's emotion, who can always bring it. But it again added more humanistic element to the witches and showed that, the show itself was going to delve into real love and real emotions. And having not seen it before myself, it kind of, like you, Drew, it's like, man, it's kind of really hooked me in. I was like, oh.
Well, it's episodes like that for sure that you realize very quickly why the show gained such a massive following early. Right? It's episodes that there's always certain shows and specific episodes that hook you and you're like, oh, I'm in. I'm fully invested. And that's why Piper specifically, at least from my eyes, was a fan favorite from the outset, because there was such a level of like authenticity and humanity to it. Like, I believed it. I was really into it.
She is human and needs to be loved.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But I think John really brought it too, as far as being the innocent, the one needing saving and help. And, he brought a real human essence to it as well. That was, not only caring about himself and the destruction of creatures, but, him as an innocent cared about his mom, his family, the legacy, what was going on, and, the sadness of not being able to be with Piper and find that love. And it was kind of like the undercurrent, love that could never be kind of thing. And, life is too short. I can't wait to watch the next episode.
I don't think it's as good.
I'm going to tell you right now, my man, it's not as good. It's not as good at all. I have notes on it right here, actually.
Like I said, struggling to find our footing still. But I really did love John and his mom's relationship, because it's super hard to do any character development in like that. What is it really time out to? 44 minutes or something ridiculous like that?
42.
Okay, exactly. And so it's tough to like, in that amount of time show a family and their dynamic, and then, have horses and,
And also have this, like the storyline with Phoebe who, by the way, one of my notes was, that's the first time, like episode 4, she dons an outfit that kind of reminded me of I Dream of Phoebe a little bit, and starts you guys, it just like sets the table for the fits that you guys will be rocking for the next 8 years.
See, like I said, though, too, they let us outside. So we got to shoot that at the Hotel Roosevelt. Like,
Yeah.
I can tell you everything about the locations. I can tell you, like, how the flowers smelled at the front door. But ask me other things, and I'm like, who, what, where? Ask Brian. I don't know.
Dale wasn't there yet.
Dale is still in the attic.
Dale is still in the attic.
Still in the attic.
Did we get a
Flowers in the
confirmation
attic.
that she said Dale, not Leo?
No.
I need to go
Okay,
back
we're
and
gonna
watch
have to-
that.
we're gonna
Or
have
maybe,
Tweet at us.
yeah, tweet at me.
Tweet at us.
I want to know.
Tweet it. them.
But yeah, it's
Wait, do
it's
we
great.
have a House of Hollowell Twitter yet? We did
Yeah, we do.
such a thing.
Yeah, I got that. I got that. Let's see here. I just have like really my notes are just destroying Andy and his choices.
Poor Andy.
Also, he's married. He was married.
Oh,
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah,
it's just
chunks
a
up
small
with that.
detail. Everybody needs to get married the first time.
Oh, I haven't done that yet. Have you guys?
Yeah, I tried it.
Yeah.
I tried.
Girls, he's, by the way, you're still single, right? You're looking for that special someone. I mean, like,
Gosh.
you know me in a hard pivot. I love, like, do we turn this into a Brian, let's find Brian a wife show?
Brian, are you going to get married again?
You know, it would have to be pretty special.
He's taking it seriously.
You know, I don't have anything on the docket at the moment. But,
Well, you know, I like that we're announcing this then globally. This is a global news break. Brian does not have anyone on the docket presently
Not on the
and is
docket.
looking and open for something special.
you know, someone that speaks 4 languages,
Well,
That's all.
lives in a castle,
At
maybe has
House
a
of Hallowell on
house,
Twitter
yeah,
for
somewhere
your
in the
applications.
south of
So
France.
George Clooney already married that person, so she's fairly taken.
There's got to be a princess somewhere.
Don't, okay, because then you're going to
who
get underwear in
loves-
the mail again.
Who loves Charmed and loves Leo.
That's right.
Buddy, I actually feel like this is a possibility, like a real one.
Okay.
Like all jokes aside,
Well,
I
I mean, marriage is
Marriage.
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 Oof.
Princess Bride
It's
reference.
a big contract. I don't know if
Why
I'm
does it
ready for
have
that
to
one.
be? Can't you just be married outside and like you just pledge each other's love
We
for each
did
other?
that. You guys
I
were
know.
there.
Look at Holly. Look how happy she is. See that? Look at her face. That's happiness.
they combine
That's marriage
families.
bliss. That's what I see.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Tell me
What
about
did you
it.
say? It's a contract?
Yeah. He's.
Hey,
Is it
some
not?
people need contracts.
Oh
It's
boy.
true.
Some people need to sign on the dotted line.
It's true. This is true.
Holly, do you recommend marriage?
Well, I keep doing it, so I must. Somebody asked me, when am I going to stop getting married? I was like, well, I guess when people stop asking me.
Okay. Yeah.
Quit asking me.
Is that all it took?
Bro, you blew it.
You know, I was going through a thing.
Oh, that's
We're going
true.
through a few things.
A few things.
Yeah, I wasn't so much a keeper back then.
Bring home to mama.
No.
Oh boy.
Dale was still finding himself.
Listen, the fact that Dale has an awareness, it's good. It's good. That
I would
means
do
growth.
it again. I would have kids again, but it all has to be right. And you know, in this day and age, it's tough to find great people. So
It's good to be selective.
Yes, but you have to put yourself in situations where you could potentially find people in order to find
this
someone.
is
You know
what
that, right?
One was looking for, right?
Yes, if one was actually looking
Validation
for
from another
companionship.
and love like that. Yes.
Dude, why don't you marry a golfer? That would be the
You
greatest.
find me a hot golfer, a chick that can play, that's got a little dough, and I don't have to freaking
Whoa,
support
well,
her
that's-
her whole life. It'd be fantastic.
The list just got longer. Okay, there's selective and then there's real picky.
Yeah, your list just changed drastically.
The requirements.
Or you
Princess
moved to the
that golfs, that speaks 4 languages, has a
Right.
house in the south of France. Maybe she's a
Okay.
2 handicap, has a boat
Oh, and a
and a
boat.
trust fund. Done.
So that's like probably
I'm all
4
in.
different women, which explains the problem.
Yeah, and then all my friends would go, well, move to Palm Springs. There's
Yeah, bro,
plenty.
you moved to the
Yeah.
wrong. Like you should have moved to Malibu.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
posted up somewhere and
Grandma
found
would
someone.
hook me up. That'd be great. I know.
Okay, so now
Yeah,
So now that we've
please. Thank you.
completely
Can we get off of this?
trampled any version of true love happening.
Yeah, I was about to say, and this concludes the episode of the House of Hallow where we try to find Brian a wife. Well, our guest today is, I mean, I don't even know the best way to introduce him. This is one of my low-key favorite actors. I think he's so talented, and some of my favorite movies he's been a part of. He's John Cho. Also, I don't know. I'm botching this intro because I'm thinking of all the things in the movies. I kind of did a rewatchable this week, just catching a bunch of his films. But there was a film he did with Kogonada called Columbus that if you guys haven't seen, it's a masterpiece of like reflection and coming to terms with like love and loss and relationship with parents, father specifically. It is so good.
We were lucky enough to get some really great actors like before they hit like superstardom.
Yeah.
So we were lucky to get them.
Yeah, for sure. John Cho, incredible actor, sweet man. Really excited to kind of talk to him about his time on the show, but also what he's up to now.
Hey, how are you?
Hello.
What's going on?
Hi. Well,
Well-
this is so great. Thanks for having me on.
Dude,
Well,
thank
we
you
should
so much for
probably say
being here. No,
Yeah.
we're so stoked and grateful that you were able to kind of squeeze this in. I know you're super busy right now with your schedule.
You guys,
I keep telling the boys, I was like, he is not, Drew asked like, why did he not come back? Why did we like the chemistry so great? Why weren't you like moonlighting the whole time?
Yeah, I would have totally bought into that show. You guys do like a detective
hey
moonlighting.
man, I'm
That
right
would've
with
been
you.
amazing.
I'm right with you.
And I told Drew, I was like, because he has not stopped working since the day he left the show. Every day since he's not.
Well, that's why I'm so thankful. I feel like there was an artistic launch to my career, and that was sort of it. I will say, I get asked about this show all the time, and it shocks me. I was on one episode, but there's nothing like it. The legs on this show it's just so insane, and I'm so glad to be on this podcast to talk to you about it. Because I mean it's some kind of, it's magic, I guess. I mean, I'm just it has never relented. It has never ever relented, and it holds such a special place in people's hearts. It's crazy.
Yeah, I told the boys, I was like, this was like the most Piper of Piperist episodes that we got to in the first season. It was my first favorite for sure. It was definitely
Wow.
when the producers figured out I could cry. And I said, but having a good guest star that is as committed to the moment as you are is like such a huge necessity.
I was going to say the opposite, which is I felt so lucky to have you as my acting partner, because I was very green. I didn't know what I was doing. And there's no way that I could have stumbled through that without someone of your caliber. And I was watching it, and I was reminded of my impression when I got home that night, which is like, Holly is so simple. And I mean that as the highest compliment. She's just saying these words and meaning them. And I can't believe how she can do this. And, for me as a young actor, you're trying to push so much. And it was so interesting and instructive to watch you simply mean the words. I was struck by it then so deeply, and I was struck by it on the rewatch last night. It was kudos.
He's trying to make me cry again, and it's going to work.
Well, you guys both made us cry when we rewatched it.
Yeah.
We were kind of saying the same thing.
I can't believe I was
you
crying.
brought
I'm
such
like,
a reality and so much love. We just believed it. And I hadn't watched the show up to that point until I rewatched it. I'm like, oh man, I want to kind of watch it again. Like, just the whole world with you and your mother on the show and everything. And the idea that you were losing life. Even you say you were green, but it was, you brought it then. And I think
thanks.
the two of you kind of had it together. And I think that's what made it such a special episode.
It is kind of an enduring message too. I mean, I was like looking at that I was watching it thinking to myself, oh, that's pretty, it's worth remembering. Mm-hmm. Birthdays are important. Like smell the roses while you can. It's hitting me at a time too, when I'm like, this is a good lesson. This is something to think about.
John, do you have kids now?
Yeah, I have a 9-year-old and a 14-year-old boy.
Oh, goodness.
9-year-old girl.
So I saw the trailer for Don't Make Me Go.
Yes.
Which looks hysterical, by the way. And I'm watching it going, how is John old enough to play the parent of a teenager? And then I was like, wait a minute, I have 4 teenagers.
Oh my God.
4. So it was still though, watching it, even though I think you're a year older than me, that I was like, he's not old enough to play the dad of a teenager.
I will say, Holly, it is when you get that first dad role offered, you're like, what?
Me?
How dare you?
How dare you? No, it's true. I took the mom role on Pretty Little Liars. I was way too young to play her mom, but I was like, you know what? I'm choosing it. I am choosing this moment. It's not going to be I have to play the mom.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the mom. It was sort of within my control.
Very good. Very good. Very smart.
Right.
However you want to frame that.
Thank you. Yes. I'd rather have them say, you look too young to be her mom. And, oh yeah, no, you can only play the mom.
That.
Oh my God.
Smart. Very smart.
Yep.
You're boxing with yourself. You're with your own mind. That's really good.
Oh yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. That's the trials and tribulations of an actor right there. Never read.
You were ready. Hey, so at what point in where was this in your career trajectory? I know it was early stages. Where were we for you?
Well, so what year was it? 1998?
1998.
1998. So
I was 18.
I think I'd come down to LA in 96 and I'd done some theater. I'd started acting in college. Sort of fell into it. And then, so I was doing mostly theater, local theater, and doing one-line parts when I could. So this was my first, work more than one day role.
Oh, wow.
I'll tell you one story. One was the big takeaway at the time was, I think I took home a check that was slightly above $5,000. And which was big money. And I was planning a very extravagant dinner. And I think the day the check arrived, I saw my Visa bill. And I had had a few years of not being able to pay that off, doing the minimum, and it just wouldn't go away. And now I think that the Visa bill was almost exactly my check amount. It was that I couldn't get rid of. So I paid off my credit card that day, didn't go to dinner, and I've never been in debt since.
That's
incredible.
That is incredible.
But the other thing I'll say is it was my introduction into being a professional. That was the first time I really watched you guys, learned what casts do, how you take care of one another. And that was really eye-opening to me, how you were there for me, how the 3 of you were there for me, and how you took care of one another. I was watching that. And I thought, okay, this is how it's supposed to be done. And I've taken that forward. I very clearly remember, I have a terrible memory, but this is one of the things I remember, is that last shot at Echo Park at the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys were wrapped, is my recollection. And you stayed for my off camera. And I remember, I didn't know how this went.
Yeah.
But of course, for eye lines, sometimes you have to, they'll be sitting, you might be standing, 3 feet apart from one another. But sometimes for the over the shoulder, you have to scrunch up, to make those eye lines really close to one another. And you guys scrunched next to each other for my off camera. And I was like, they're wrapped. And they're all like giving me energy, making sure that I'm connected to them. And off camera is something I take a lot of pride in today as a professional. When somebody needs me, if an AD has sent me to my trailer
Mm-hmm.
for someone else's coverage, I storm back.
Yeah.
I say, you do not do this without me. And take that pink mark off that C-stand. My head's going to be there.
Yeah.
And I force my way into those situations.
Yeah. I mean, they don't like it for production scheduling. Wise, they try to get rid of you. They try to wrap you so they can bring you in earlier the next day.
Yes.
But, half of acting is reacting. And if you can't be there for the person on the other side, what's the point?
I often think of you guys when I'm doing off camera. Can you believe it? I have that image flashes into my head.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of, the show, of course, was 8 years long. And a lot of people like to talk about how the girls didn't get along or how they, had their differences towards the end, which anybody would in those conditions after 8 years. But not a lot of people know like this kind of stuff where we were super like a band of brothers and we were really all in our respective ways trying to make it a good show, definitely in the beginning and definitely at this point. And they were both, very much professionals and dedicated to what they were doing at that point.
I will attest to that. I saw that very clearly, very up close, and there was support, personal and professional support that I witnessed that day or that week. It was really, really quite moving. And it's like something I chase in casts, it's just things don't work when you don't have that, and so it's so important to, I don't know how it gets done. I think like, my theory is there's the center spoke, and that's usually the director, and that we all are kind of offshoots of that director's personality, and we're connected through that person usually. But when it works, it's so good. It's sublime when you have that kind of intimacy with the cast. And I saw it that week.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
There's that reminds me of that famous story about Tom Hanks on, what was it, The Green Mile? And they had done his coverage in the cell, or it was, I forgot who he was acting opposite of, but basically they did him first thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And by, I think 12, 13 hours later, they were doing the reverse of that shot. And the actor who was talking about it, man, I forgot who it was, but he the first thing he says is like, in walks Tom Hanks. Like, to do reverse coverage, he had wrapped like 12 hours earlier. And it was such a big thing for him because, and Tom had said, well, of course I'm going to be here. Like, your reaction to me is going to be much different than to a pink, X on a C-stand or a stand-in. And so that level of professionalism, I think, like, one of the things that probably people don't realize is like how important it is to constantly be present and give that kind of the same level of emotion support to your scene partner, because it's only going to ultimately lift up the piece or the scene even more. So
I have a similar story, which was I had one scene in a Chris Rock movie. Might have been the gig after this, but he was wrapped. He was in the car. He was driving away from set, but hadn't gotten very far. They realized they needed him. I'm struggling to remember whether it was for my off camera or an additional shot. But he turned the car around. Everyone says, oh, sorry about that. Thank you very much. And I said, thank you so much for coming back. Oh my God. And he said something to the effect of, it's no sweat. If this movie sucks, it's on me. They're, they're going to say I suck. I'm coming back for me, man. Which there's some truth to that as well.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. But that's okay. Because a high tide rises all ships.
Yeah.
Right? I have to throw in, Holly now lives across from this beautiful bay. And so I'm trying to throw in as many nautical references as I possibly can.
I appreciate that.
To me, I want you to feel seen.
I'm
That's
very
why.
jealous. I'm very jealous.
Yeah,
Well-
you should show John your view.
No, I tried to retire quietly and Drew was just not having it, basically.
I take full responsibility for this, and you'll be all right.
Thanks.
Look how much fun you're having.
Uh-huh.
Look how smitten you are. It's so cute. John, I know I'm deviating a little bit from charm, but I was just telling Holly and Brian how much I absolutely loved Columbus.
Oh, thanks.
It's like Kogonada is an incredible filmmaker, storyteller, but your performance in that was, dude, it blew my mind. It was so subtle
wow,
and
thanks.
beautiful. And there was so many textures and layers to what you were going through and your dynamic with,
Haley Lou Richardson.
yeah, Haley Lou
Yeah.
Richardson, who was amazing as well. Like, dude, it got me. It was phenomenal.
Oh, thanks. That was a really special movie. And also for a lot of reasons, but one of them is like, I've never been associated with a place. You know what I mean? Like that it's a movie that takes place in one town. And I don't know why that is kind of special to me, but they will always be able to say Columbus, the movie shot here, and I can always go there. And I guess I imagine retiring there and becoming mayor. It's really cool to have a project that is just very specific to a single town.
Right on. Was Kogonada awesome to work with?
Yes. Just as an example, I remember doing one scene with Parker Posey. It was a very difficult scene. The text was difficult. There were so many. Oh, it's one of those where like you're never saying the thing you want to say for each line. It was all smoke and mirrors. Each line was a lie or something like that. It was very difficult kind of figuring out what the beats were. It took a long time. But his coverage was like, we were doing the scene and there was a mirror in the background so you could see our faces and the back of our heads. But it was a wide and it took a long time to get through it. And by the time we had finished that angle and we were emotionally exhausted, he says, I think I really like this shot. I think I'm going to use it. Would you like to move in for coverage? And I said, I looked at Parker and I said, I'm good if you are, because that was tough. And this is an amazing frame you've got going. And he said, cool, don't need to do it. Let's go home. And it was his first feature. There's a boldness to, I hesitate to call it ignorance, but he was just saying, I'm feeling something. I'm committed. Let's move on. And it was a very different way to work, especially, coming back into TV world. There's so much sort of, what do you call it? Corporate coverage. They want they have a list and you spend a lot of the day doing stuff, just checking boxes, crossing things off a list. And it was very interesting to work with someone who was like, I feel and that's what we're doing.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's the kind of guy.
the whole movie plays almost in these like giant, massive wides. And like very rarely did he cut in for coverage, and then he'll cut back out if he cuts in for a second. And it was just such bold filmmaking.
Well, that's very like old school. Like when I did my first show at 19 of Picket Fences, it was all wide shots. It was like doing a play, and you had to be on your beats, you had to be on your mark, you had to, the timing with the other actors had to be right. And they would only punch in for close-ups for something really important or poignant.
And by the way, when they do that, the poignant moment lands harder, I think.
It was, when 24 happened, that's when all the extreme close-ups forever just started going and going. It was super, new at the time and exciting, but it worked for 24, not necessarily like
for everything.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for Modern Family or,
Yeah.
But there's something, what I love about, working in wider frames that are still, it is like, I consider that like whatever the camera is seeing is the proscenium. And then like, you can work out blocking with your director. And I love blocking so much because it makes acting easier for me. Like you turn around and say something or move across the room and it provides impulses. And like having this in your face the whole time and having to generate all the changes with the camera a foot from your face, that's tougher. And so I find it easier to move, pick something up, turn around, go to the window, it informs everything. So that was, it was a real pleasure working in that kind of style for sure.
Yeah, that's totally me too, because I hate rehearsing. Despite contrary to popular belief, I hate listening to myself, the sound of my voice.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to say the lines a million times, but a mark, a prop, a turn, that makes it's easier to remember what I'm going to do and why. And so blocking I think is super important, but bringing the emotion to rehearsal and the words to rehearsal and hearing myself talk again and again, like that, I don't want.
What was that like on Charmed? Like bringing it back to like early days Charmed, was it more rehearsal blocking based? Like where do you guys remember what that process was like?
Gosh.
Or was it?
In the beginning, there was a lot of rehearsal, and towards the end, we tried to get more efficient. And, if we were in makeup a long time, they would start blocking with our stand-ins. And I would be like, wait, no. Because it was part of my process where I was like, it just helps me remember what I'm going to do better. Like, I definitely didn't want to like go over my lines 50 times anymore, because when you're in that kind of cycle of day in and day out, it's kind of like hamster on a wheel sort of machine. So unless you have like certain movements and certain sets and certain things, for me, it's very visual. Like for me, I don't need to hear it, but I need to either see it or write it down for me to really be paying attention. So that's what I needed stuff.
It's a bummer that we haven't worked together since, because that's what it's like this.
I know. Well,
guys, I'm buying it. I'm here for it. Whenever you're ready to dive back in,
here for it.
I am so here for it. I will trumpet this show.
Okay,
whatever it is.
You start writing now, Drew. Give me a couple months to come off the island.
Okay.
I'll get there. Hey, you know what? Where I live now is much close to Vancouver, but y'all stopped shooting in Vancouver, and now you want to go to New Orleans, Atlanta.
Why are you making me responsible for where people are shooting? It's not my fault.
Things now. You're like a creator. You're a creator.
Yeah, I'm creating content.
It's funny. Well, I don't know why I was thinking about this, but I was the other day in the car, I was thinking, I'm really glad I survived. I was reflecting that I was really thankful that my career survived the change in the television era, because it kind of coincided with my having kids. And that was when, most TV shows when I started, obviously shot in Los Angeles. And then it started going to Toronto and Vancouver, which seemed to be tremendously far away, but now I would take it in an instant.
Right.
And then it started getting crazier and crazier. And I was always like, but what about the kids?
Yeah.
What is this doing to my family? They're either coming out with me and I'm uprooting them from their lives, their loved ones, their friends and family. or we're apart and they're growing up without a dad. So that was very difficult to navigate for a long time. And it's not much easier now, but, I don't have to take as many jobs. Oh, there are also like, limited series so that the terms are a little better sometimes.
Right.
But there was a good like 10 years where I was like, how am I going to survive not taking a series in Louisiana or Detroit?
Yeah.
Did you come up with it? Come up with a formula? Because there's
you just don't open the script. And then you don't know what you're missing. Truly. One came across my desk that would have been in New Orleans. And I was just like, there's just no way. I have 4 teenagers. There's just no way. So you don't open it. And then John Kretschmer tells you it was picked up.
Oh, that show. Yeah.
I need, Holly, I need you in a very small jar on my desk telling me wise things. So open the jar.
I think we could all use a Holly jar.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Holly, I think the reason my personal, I have no idea how this ranks for Charmed fans, but I think it's special because we couldn't touch each other. It's because of that. That's so romantic and so it speaks to people. Maybe it's the human condition or something. I don't know. But that people say, I wish you could come back. I'm like, I'm not sure I should have. I think that's why it's special that we couldn't.
Yeah. No, absolutely, truly. And then I married this guy. So.
What?
Oh wait,
that's the guy who replaced you. This is the guy,
right? Of course.
Dale.
After watching the episode, I'm like, we didn't have that love.
No, you definitely did not.
What?
I'm sorry. You missed my birthday, dude. I'm not voting for you.
It was justified. I was like, oh. I'm like, I never touched her. Like, oh, can you feel my hand? I'm like,
you should have
like love. Like. They had passion. I'm like, man,
that was real.
We were like,
you guys were already married like 20 years. You're like the old married couple.
No, I'm crying, but for different reasons.
It's true.
Really should have watched this episode.
When I saw you guys do that and you put the hand there and, close your eyes, you can feel me. It was like,
it's a lesson.
I felt it with you guys. And I was like,
by the way, you guys, for real, that was so, it could have, in moments like that, it can go one of two ways, right? And it clearly landed in a very real heavy way where we're all going, oh, like it landed. And that's a testament to both of your talents and the way you played it and fully committed. And it was beautiful, truly. I really wish Brian and Holly had that as my parents. They didn't. And this is why I turned out the way I am.
We admit that to everybody. We've been crashing everybody's party with our chemistry since day one. We're like, listen, we were friends. It was weird. His wife was mad at me. It was weird.
What?
Yeah, in real life. Real life.
Yeah.
See, your ex-wife thought we had a lot of chemistry, BK.
Clearly, she didn't see Dead Man Dating.
She did.
That's real chemistry.
A lot better.
That's real chemistry. She's like, we're fine.
They should have brought that there, John. I'm working, babe. Like,
what's it like? I'm one of those people that deletes the memory file as soon as I finish a job. Mm-hmm. What is it like to go back and meditate on something you did? Because it does sort of go into the air for me. It goes out of psychological necessity, really. Yeah.
It goes into the archives for sure. But there's like weird things I was telling them earlier that I remember. Like I can tell you anything about a location. I can tell you what the flowers smelled like at the front door. But as far as like what I'm doing and the inner workings, there's just, you do kind of compartmentalize it and just go, see you later. File that away.
I always remember temperatures.
Yeah, totally.
I was like, hot ass day. That was freezing there.
Sense memory.
Or crew members or some food or something.
Yeah.
For me, it's
Smell touch.
line. I remember lines.
Did you guys do a table read at that point? I know Charmed
There
had
was no
started
table
with a
reads?
couple, but
I
had
don't
they
recall
already
that.
gone out?
No, we weren't.
So 3 or 4, huh?
We literally were trying to like see how fast we could finish episodes because we were struggling with the special effects all being new and, doing 5 wardrobe changes, full hair and makeup in a day,
Mhm.
and, stunts. So
Yeah.
Right.
it was literally just trying to make it to the finish line every day. So there was no time for table reads. There was no time for words.
It almost seems illogical that we were doing that. Television was produced at that pace.
Yeah.
Like 22 episodes. And, now even with a 10 episode season, I'm like in the middle of it, around 6 or 7, I go, what the fuck are we doing? What happened this season? You know what I mean?
Right.
But 22, that pace that'll break you.
Yeah, it's a
we
lot.
did a couple of, it is definitely a young man's game for sure. There's no,
Right.
I could do it now, at 25, I think I was 25 to 33. Yeah, on the show. So the 20s were good, and
Wow.
I could hit the ground a lot and keep running, literally. But yeah, after 30, it was kind of like torturous. And then at 30, I had my first son. So he was coming to set with me.
Yeah.
And it changes everything. It made it more interesting in a lot of ways, but at the same time, it's a young man's game for sure.
Yeah.
That's why they trade us in and put us out to pasture.
By your choice, you could be in New Orleans right now.
Dad.
You could be in New Orleans right now.
Probably playing someone's mom too.
Probably. But that you embrace.
I'm playing Jensen's mom. Just
Oh, wow.
kidding.
John, what are you shooting right now?
I'm on a TV show in Los Angeles.
That's amazing.
It's
That's
amazing.
Can we talk about it? Has it come out?
Yes. It was announced. It's the 2nd season of a murder mystery show called The After Party.
Oh.
It's for
The
Apple.
Apple show.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. This show is amazing.
Yeah.
If you guys
It's
haven't
really
seen
good.
it, it's such a smart take on genre play.
Yeah, so it's basically a Rashomon situation where people, or Clue, where
Right.
people, and then what the thing that they're doing is everyone, as they're recounting their memories of the night, each person's memory is a different genre of film.
Oh.
So some people are seeing it as an epic romance, and other people are seeing theirs as some action movie, and other people it's like a Hitchcock film, and so or a musical. So all the visual styles are different.
That's like all those things are every aspect of my daily life in one day. So that's amazing.
Yeah,
In one
it's
day.
really fun. Can you tell us what your genre is?
I can't. I can't.
That's a clue.
That's a secret. But I will say,
ask the question.
It kind of came from Chris Miller is the executive producer, and his son and my son go to the same school, and they had done this murder mystery at school together. And so he emailed me and said, I think this would be fun if we did what our sons are doing.
That's great.
Yeah. So it was real cute. Yeah. It was kismet, I guess.
Oh, totally.
It's cool.
Well, you said in the author's note, phenomenal book, by the way, Troublemaker.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God. Thank you.
Yeah, man. I finished it last night. I kind of power read it this last week. And in the author's note at the end, you were saying that you had originally kind of ventured out to make like a mystery, right? And so
Yes.
the fact that you're getting to do that now.
Yeah.
But are you going to, I'm assuming you're going to turn it into a movie or a mini series, right? At some point, Troublemaker?
I think it might
that
happen. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it'd be cool. We're talking to somebody about it and trying to get it lined up.
Do you have any interest in directing? Like, would that be something you would want to direct?
Yeah, I think I'm ready to give it a shot. I'll see what happens. If what I guess over the years I've thought of a lot of things, as an actor, you go, oh, if I were in charge, I would do that.
Right.
And I guess this will be my chance to to put my money where my mouth is.
Well, here's the thing that I always notice. So if you walk into a set and you pictured the scene differently than how it's being blocked out, that's probably when you're ready to direct. When you're like, oh, wait a minute, I saw this differently. I mean, that's all it is, and then your crew supports you. If you have a good crew and a good camera crew, then they support you through it.
Yeah.
Talking from my armchair and never attempted to do it.
Do you ever
Listen,
think
this is why I'm gonna put you in the jar on my desk whenever I have a critical question. Holly,
HMC, was that something you thought of doing ever? Because your brain works that way.
It does work that way. I preferred to be behind the scenes and be like producer type, questions and answers, as opposed to like John said, like the center of the spoke, like the center of all the questions and all the responsibility and all the things.
here's one fix I'd do. I have one. I would wonder if you guys think the same. I've said it's really a mistake to have the AD do off camera for a phone call. I said, why don't we just get somebody from Cal State LA, an acting student, give them credits so that guys don't have to spend any more money. That person's just with us and does all off camera. It becomes a voice of the set and not of what, to me, it's like the AD is over there and it's really kind of distracting to have the voice who says action and stuff.
And after a while, you have personal relationships with them. And I don't know about other sets, but our first ADs were pretty funny. And so half the time I would end up laughing or saying some fucked up shit to them. And, it costs time and money.
Yeah. Producer brain.
From
my producer chair. So, yeah.
For me, I always try to actually have the person, like if it's a phone call, like let's just call them. Right.
Yeah.
A lot of times now you're just.
Yeah, but anytime an AD reads too, it's just, it's so bad.
It's the making for comedy.
Better off with the tape on a C-stand.
Yeah. Listen.
You don't tempt me. You don't want to tempt me to fool around because that'll happen.
Or it's just even this. I don't know why the script supervisor's on book to me, because it's like,
right,
that woman has so much to do, and then when you say a line, she has to put the ruler down.
Put everything.
What? And there's that moment that's critical. That time, then the line really goes.
Truly.
I'm not mad at this idea. This is not a bad idea. Like just someone who is with the cast at all time, like with the crew. It's like another crew member.
Yes.
Who is acting as the voice, line read. Like if someone drops a line, it's everything off camera.
Yeah.
There you go.
Holly, are you on board with this?
How do I get into that union?
Yeah. I'm telling you,
I'm an off-camera specialist.
The man has not stopped working for a day. Not a day.
Yeah, literally. You just don't ever stop working.
For like a part of that day. But yeah.
It's Holly, I will accept that compliment, because it is like the biggest triumph is not like the heights you reach, but to me, I look back and I go, shit, I'm still standing. It's really nuts, because even at that time when we shot the show, my realistic career goal was, it'd be cool if I turned 40, if I didn't have a second job, if I wasn't waiting tables. I was like, that to me would be amazing, because looking around at your friend group, the grind it's tough.
It is. It's tough to navigate the lows, and that's the part where people kind of go off the rails, and get really down on themselves. And the highs are the highs and the lowest of the lows. So it's tough. It's tough to be a working actor for decades. To see the success, but don't understand there can be really low and dark times.
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of things. Like if you have a lull, that's why, it's best if you get some momentum going when in your 20s, that's a real gift to yourself, because if you don't have that momentum, and let's say, I mean, this is getting into the weeds, but you get pregnant and you're not making enough for the insurance to clear the insurance threshold. That's the kind of thing that makes people quit the industry entirely. You know, that they leave and they go, I can't do this. I've got a kid, or, you know, I've got a condition. I've got a little thing, and this I got to make the insurance, and I can't risk it anymore. You know, so that's why if you get a little bit of vroom vroom, you know, from 20 to 27 or something like that, that's so useful. But it's tough.
Wait, at what age? So you went to school in Berkeley, is that correct? And you started doing plays and stuff. So at what point in there did you decide or say, you know what, I'm going to try Hollywood? And this is, I don't know if at that point, even when you did the show, it was a life goal to work through your 40s, or when did you really catch that bug and say to yourself, you know what, I think I'd like to do this. This is my thing. I'm good at it, type of thing.
I'll be honest. I think I was very afraid to say I wanted to do this for a living. And so I kind of told myself, just go down to LA, give it a year, give it 2 years, see what happens. Who knows? But so I had done this. I was doing school plays. I'd done a few school plays, and I thought, this is really fun. And then there was a play that needed our university amphitheater because it was such a big production. And the school said, we'll let you rent this auditorium for your professional play, but in return, you have to cast like 3 or 4 students. You have to use these, or two crew, 2 cast members or something. And so that's how I got into a professional play, was basically blackmail from the school. And during that show is when I first met Asian American actors who I didn't even really think were out there. I think in my mind, I saw them on TV once in a while, but I thought they're like, maybe they're people off the street that they just, you know, put into the show or something. And it was seeing them, meeting them that I went and see how they were professionals. That was really the key for me, to see how they took their work. And I said, oh, that's like a discipline. I didn't think of it as a discipline. I thought it was a lark, you know? Mm-hmm. And when I saw the discipline, I saw the work. I said, that's very interesting to me. And so I came down to LA after graduation and gave it a shot. Yeah.
Wow.
And he's still working every day.
In LA, Holly.
Right now.
Wow.
Really. That is the unicorn.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
John, you are the unicorn.
Yeah.
That's your new moniker.
I'll take it. I'll take it,
man.
Unicorn.
Own it. Own it. Own it. Own it. It's awesome.
Thank
you so much, John. It was good to see you.
This has been so special for me. I'm so thankful to talk to you guys. I'm thankful to celebrate that episode that was so important for me as a baby. So
for a baby,
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure.
Same
a fan of you and your work, and thank you for sharing your stories and just being so open and honest and cool.
Oh man, this is awesome.
Thank you. Unicorn, everyone.
There he is.
You're living Holly, the Seattle situation, I'm getting pretty jealous.
I know. Well,
wait, show him the view.
Show him. There you
flip
go.
the camera. Show him your harbor. It's real magical.
You don't need to bully her. Don't bully her.
Peer pressure.
She needs
All right,
it.
guys.
All right, man.
That's amazing. Best of luck, and can't wait to see what you're in next.
Thank you.
PK, take some notes.
Yeah.
He's been taking notes all the time.
Bye. Holly in the jar. That's my big
There
move.
you go. I'll be there.
All right. Bye.
John is like, what a special man, beautiful soul. Of course, he's continuing to work. Like, he's a legend.
Like I said, my first favorite. Sorry, BK.
I wasn't there yet.
He was in the attic.
Yeah.
You were just a thought in the attic.
Sorry.
Well,
he's amazing.
Yeah.
It's great energy. I love it.
Yeah.
Motivating.
you really got to watch. You should see some of those films if you haven't seen his work recently.
Absolutely. I'm going to dig in.
He's so good. Not a false moment, truly.
Like what he said about Holly as well, just so simple and meaning what she said. And you know, when people ask me about who was my favorite to work with, and I always say Holly, and it's kind of the same thing. She's just the most real. And you know, to know that he picked up on that and has tried to take that forward in his other work, I think is, you know, something I've tried to do as well. And it's a testament to Holly and, you know, John, of course, who picked it up and has carried it on.
Is the deal. Well, I think it just came organically from me trying to make people feel comfortable. And then once you do that and, you know, you're just talking and you're just, you know, having normal real life conversations about, you know, dragons and demons, then it seems just fine.
But, you know, straight up, to kind of reiterate what BK and John have said, like, you were by far and away the easiest, kindest, and most present person that I worked with. Like, I came on set and no, we'll get there. But
we'll get to that moment.
Yeah, we will get to that, man. Jesus.
There's some hazing involved.
Yeah, the hazing. It is a miracle. Let's put it this way. It is a miracle we are here right now. But Holly, you were, to kind of back up what they both said, like, I remember just being on set with you, even first day. You were so kind, loving, and present and giving off camera for me.
I had to be present. You had 20 questions.
Yeah, because I care.
And I had to keep you away from the directors. I was like, don't talk to them. Don't talk to them. You were so eager to do well.
We are jumping.
Oh, sorry.
5 seasons ahead. I was just complimenting you, telling you, like, you were so beautiful in your groundedness in your performances, and you really did always give the most beautiful off camera, and you always made everyone that you worked with feel like seen and important. And so that was a big time. That was and the fact that John recognizes it, BK just acknowledged it as well. Like, take the compliment. You were amazing. You're an amazing actress to work opposite of.
You mean be present right now?
No, I know you have to go. All right, guys. This concludes another episode of The House of Hallowell. Thank you to all our Patreon members.
See y'all. Can't wait to talk about episode 5, season 1.
I cannot wait.